Good morning, everybody. We are live. It is the right side of campus here on a Friday, July 27th, 2018. I'm your host, the Big Man on Campus, here with my co-host, Donnie Rightside, bringing down all that's happened on a Thursday night in sports. We'll look forward to Friday as well. Lot to talk about. Weekend is here. Welcome in, Donnie Rightside.
Welcome in. Yes, Jeff Fryayo here in the house, and it's almost going to be Football Fridays, Jeff. Remember how many times we said that last year? Welcome into Football Friday, where we're getting close. Some preseason games on tap. We'll review last night's card. Now, keep in mind, folks, if we take a look over at what was going on yesterday, and you see the tagline on the bottom, we had to get that in extra early, so we're going to add some nice little topics here for us, Jeff.
Let's get into a lot. We got a lot to talk about. Take a look at the little logo up at the top right corner. We are promoting Intertops. If you're in the market for a new book, make sure you're checking out Intertops today. One of the best books in the business. Is important when football comes that you have a variety of different books. Make sure Intertops is one of them. They've been around a long time. Very easy to use. Payouts are quick and easy. And they have some of the best lines in the business. So make sure you're checking out Intertops when you're consulting a new book today. Welcome into all the listeners as well. If you're out there, do me a favor, hit the retweet button on Twitter, like the show, communicate, let us know you're around. We got a couple people in here already. Welcome in to everyone checking out the show. Let's get into some headlines. First of all, Donnie, how was your night, man?
It was good last night. Picked up a little bit of extra scratch, Jeff, on Team Launch Angle, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Nice, easy winner down in Atlanta. So I was just surfing through, watching some TV, watching the Fighting Phils. Good night for me, man. Nice and relaxing.
Absolutely terrific game last night. Late night MLS. I know people will knock the MLS, but MLS was terrific last night. A 2-0 game in the 75th minute. Some big goals late by the Galaxy to tie that game. Terrific stuff. The last goal by the LAFC that they allowed, I'm not sure what the hell was going on there. Weird a scene of events, but a great game in LA last night. Good to see the MLS getting to showcase that on ESPN. Good stuff. Let's get into some headlines here. Chance Warmack in the news. Chance Warmack, for anyone that doesn't know, is an offensive lineman for Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Just thought I'd remind everyone who the Super Bowl champions were. But he's in the news for a little bit different reasons. It's actually kind of interesting. Chance Warmack will be the first NFL player to gain loss of value payout. Basically, a loss of value payout is you take an insurance policy out if your second contract in the NFL, would allow him to collect if it was less than $20 million. And he's basically betting, that he doesn't get what he thinks he gets, I think, Donnie. I don't know. Why don't you fill us in on this contract?
Yeah, top 10 picks. So you take out an insurance policy that says, should anything go wrong in my contract or not play up or injury related where my second contract is not living up to par on what a top 10 pick should be. And it looks like, Jeff, he hit one of those escalators, which signing with the Philadelphia Eagles coming back, I believe he's going to get an additional $3 million payout based on that insurance policy that he had. Some interesting, it's just like trading in the stock market, trading on props and sports gambling. You take a bet on yourself, but you can get some insurance out there, Jeff, when you go play blackjack at a casino out there. Dealer showing an ace there. Do you want to take out insurance in case he has blackjack to get some of your money back? You could say yes or no. He bet on himself. Actually, technically, Jeff, I guess you could say he bet against himself and won.
Yeah, generally, this is popular for college athletes. People take out the Marquise Lee did it. Jake Butt did it. You remember Donnie? This is a blast from the past. Name. I played at Penn State. I remember him when I was a kid. Do you remember that guy Silas Red? He was a running back.
Yes, sure. Of course I do. Yeah.
I think he did it as well, if I can remember correctly. But a lot of people do this, kind of to protect themselves in the case of an injury. But you see it in the NFL. I didn't know you could. I didn't know people really did it in the NFL. But Warmack will cash in on that as well. So that's pretty cool. I'll get a little extra money as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
remember the most
that is
famous
funny.
guy who did that, and it didn't actually pay off for him, but everybody called it a genius move, Jeff. If you remember back in the early 2000s, the NCAA championship game at the Fiesta Bowl, which Miami was robbed against Ohio State, Willis McGahee took an insurance policy out on himself, and his knee exploded in that game. If he wasn't drafted or never played football again, I believe it was a couple $100,000 policy, would have paid him $5 million cash, but obviously goes in, still a top draft pick there for the Buffalo Bills. Made a lot more money than the insurance policy, but that was one of the first times where it actually worked out. Wow, lucky he played in that game, got hurt, and still had the policy, so he was covered either way. So good stuff by these guys.
Exactly. Earl Thomas, he's holding out, but Pete Carroll doesn't seem to be happy about it, saying that Earl should be here, and he's not. Their defense continues to struggle, Donnie, with cuts to it. Obviously, Richard Sherman leaves. You got this kind of stuff. Cam Chancellor's long gone. It just continues to get worse for the Seattle Seahawks defense.
No, it's just not I don't know. And I know they're trying to change the culture. They booted a lot of veterans out of there. Some guys left the team by attrition, free agency, retirement, injury retirement. But Earl Thomas seems like he's that last standout back there. He's the quarterback of your defense. And let me get this straight. One of the richest owners in the NFL. I believe there was at one time through Microsoft, Paul Allen, he could have bought all 32 NFL teams at one time and still had money left over. What are we bitching about? He's the best player on your team. You need somebody back there on defense. Pay him his money. Look what Arthur Blank's doing down there, just handing out checks left and right because he has the cash to hand out. What are we doing? Proving a point versus Earl Thomas of all people? Get it together, Seattle.
Exactly. That's a good point by you.
Yeah.
You got to take care of your people, Donnie. That's how it works.
Yes.
Lower concessions. By the way, it is a very low time for sports news that we're talking about concession prices.
I like it.
In the NFL. But no, you gotta say, I mean, whether it's the Hawks or the Falcons, you gotta say one thing about Atlanta. They are nice people, it seems like down there, and they're going at it to really make it a nice fan experience, a fan friendly food pricing. I mean, you can get these are the now, take a listen to these prices. Seems like you're in the 60s with these prices. Bag
Yeah.
of chips will be $1. Candle pretzels and bottled water $2. Fries, hot dogs, nachos, soda, 3, pizza, popcorn, or a bottomless. What's a bottomless soda? What is that? What does that
I
even
mean, you can
mean?
keep refilling it. You buy it one time for whatever the price is, and you refill it as many times as you want. Just like you're at
Now,
like a
how would you?
McDonald's. Just keep walking
Now,
up.
how would you? Okay, so there's only one kind of soda.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
so
get
you
the
get
cup, and there's
okay, you get
whatever
the cup.
sodas you want. There's
Okay,
probably you just get the cup for the whatever $4, and you can fill
that's
it up as
interesting.
much as you want. Yeah.
You got to be. Who would get that? You got to be a real fucking glutton to get that. Do you really need
Yeah.
bottomless soda? I mean, come on, man. Domestic
Look,
beer,
man, it's
five.
hot Atlanta down there,
Wow.
Jeff. Once they open, the roof actually works now. I saw down in Atlanta on the Mercedes-Benz Dome. Maybe when they open it up, it gets hot, Jeff. You need them extra Diet Cokes down there. Your boy Francesca would go down there and use that bottomless Diet Coke soda.
Oh yeah, yeah, he would love that. $5 beer. Wow. How about that?
Yes.
How about that,
Jeff, get a
Donnie?
beer and a pizza. Beer and a slice for under $10. Go down to the link. Let me get that beer, $12. Let me get a slice, $9. Oh,
Oh yeah,
thanks,
it's
man.
$20 till the end of it. Yeah, yeah. No, I always look at this and I always smile. That's a great way to treat your people. That's good business down there. Better business. Good for Atlanta. I'm not sure if I'll ever get to a game there, but maybe other teams should take notes of that. That's very cool.
No, I just thought it was interesting where you can actually go for once and eat at the stadium and not pay through it through your nose and that. And again, it helps in the bringing your family to the game because if you have kids, they all want ice cream and pizza and sodas and stuff like that. Good for them looking out because the one thing that always got on my nerves, Jeff, no matter where you go, buy an expensive ticket to a stadium, Jeff. It's their parking lot and they make you pay to park. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, yeah. I've often also mentioned. I will mention this, Donnie. By the way, if you're getting a pizza slice at a stadium, um, you've hit rock bottom in life.
No, that's not
Uh,
true though, Jeff, because a lot of these places have
yes,
upgraded. Like you can go down and get a slice of Lorenzo's down at the Wells Fargo and also,
it ain't the same.
high-end pizza places down there. I'm telling you what, nah, what do you mean it's the same company?
No, no, it's heated up and stuff. I'm not into that. Can't do it. By the
It's
way,
not
you were
Elio.
mentioning. Yeah, oh, Elio's is trash. But by the way, this is actually funny. People are saying, Troy V, settle down, Troy V. He says bottomless beer, and I'll buy season
Hmm,
tickets.
that's a good point. Yeah. You can knock down 12, 13 beers in a game, Jeff, pay for
Yo,
itself.
think if they did that, how many tickets they'd sell there? That fucking place would be sold out every fucking week. Not
Jeff,
that it.
here we go, Philadelphia. Get ready for it. You're going to have bottomless beer at Lincoln Financial Field and kiosks to bet on the game at the same time. It's wonderful, man.
Now let me ask you, Donnie. You've seen that team Atlanta United? They get like 70,000 people there,
Yeah.
like the soccer team. Do you
Mhm.
think that they sell? Do you think they do better on game day than the Falcons? Like as far as do you think the Falcons sell it every week?
I mean, it used to not be in the past, sell, but I'm pretty sure they do now with the new stadium and a good football team. I'm pretty sure they sell, but I know for a lot of times in the Georgia Dome they didn't, which is why they were trying all these newfangled, half price season tickets, upper level, like $10 per seat for a game and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure they probably sell it now, though.
And that just goes to show you no one gives a fuck about baseball. Because how many years, Donnie, have they failed at that Brave Stadium to get people to go? I mean, it wouldn't matter if they were in a playoff race; they weren't getting people. They get 70K for a soccer game, MLS, in the middle of the season in July.
No, no,
Impressive. By the way, also at
it is.
Mercedes-Benz Stadium, listen to this, Donnie. I didn't know this. Um, Self-serve refill stations keep main lines moving, which is great. Fans can also
Hmm.
play top golf and get a haircut in a barber shop. Is that true?
Yeah, because that's what you want
Wow.
to do during the game. Let me go get a fade at halftime.
Well, if the game's boring, it's not a bad idea. I mean, if you're not like me, where like for me, Donnie, going to the barbershop is an experience. Every Friday night, I go
Yeah.
to the barbershop, and it's like
Ah.
I take an hour or two out of my week. But I guess if you need a quick haircut, I don't really see the reason for it. But
Yeah.
interesting, nonetheless. Um, what else do we got here? All right, let's go into these MLB trades. MLB trade market's heating up, and we'll also kind of transform into baseball here with what happened last night. Let's get through the trades here. First, which this was after the other night. Zach Britton to the Yankees, Donnie, a big closer up to New York. Also yesterday, Yankees trade Drury and Billy McKinney for Jay Happ. Jay Happ, not the greatest move in the world, but a good enough move. Jay Happ's been an all-star pitcher the last few years. Good, solid AL pitcher. He's good against the Red Sox. An ERA under 2, Donnie, against the Red Sox over his last 10 starts. So he's been able to take care of business against Boston, which is big for the Yankees. Cubs reached an agreement with Cole Hamels. I can't really imagine Cole Hamels, Donnie, in Wrigley. That seems to be like a little bit of a mess. Um, what are your thoughts on some of these trades?
Yeah, looking at the Cole Hamels deal, I mean, it's pretty much when you look at overall the front line starting pitching for the Cubs, you want to get the guy, Jeff, that, the Cubs have won a World Series, but you need a guy on your team that's been there and done that and performed in pressure situations because I think we can all see the writing on the wall, Jeff. You don't want like game 3 of the NLDS and Tyler Chatwood is your pitcher who's walking 17 guys in the first 4 innings and leaving your bullpen out to dry with 100 pitches in the 5th inning. You want a guy that's going to be able to be competent out there, not going to succumb to the pressure. You know what? I won a World Series. I won an MVP. I've been in big pressure situations. I can see that. The Yankees, just an embarrassment of riches is what you like to look at it throughout Major League Baseball, which happens every year. So you don't get mad. The haves and the have-nots. Yankees just tack on. You get one of the better bullpen guys in the league. And again, you're not saying, oh, he's going to come in and be a closer and be a savior. No. But let's take a look, Jeff. You're in the playoffs. You're squeezing every single out. It's a nice guy to bring in, Jeff, in the 7th inning to get a lefty out, Zach Britton. And then you're getting Jay Happ again going into the playoffs where you say, how about one of those games where you start CC, Jeff, and he's struggling out there, but he's getting the job done. 3 1/3 innings out there, maybe 4 hits, but scrambling around. You pull him, and you could throw Jay Happ right behind him. It's nice to get veteran pitchers out there that can handle October pressure. I like what the Yankees did. I'm not going to lie.
I'll tell you this, I wouldn't mind seeing, and again, this is something I want to see right now. I'm not saying you bring them up, yeah, but I'd like to see what you have. I wouldn't mind seeing them bring up Justice Sheffield, see what you have. Maybe he could be a help to you late in the season, kind of like Severino was. I would give him a shot, bring him up, see what he can do. Put him out there, in a game. Let's see what he's got. Maybe he could be a guy that can help late in the season. But yeah, I like the J Happ move, bringing him in. I was hoping they would make that trade. He was probably the best pitcher on the market. as far as that's concerned. A
Mhm.
couple other ones as well. Joaquim
Yeah,
Soria goes to the
like it.
Milwaukee Brewers. They kind of bolster their bullpen as well. They continue to kind of add to that bullpen. I mean, you have some real high level arms in that pen. Joaquim heads there as well. And then a minor move, Martin Maldonado, who has had a tough year, Donnie. Martin Maldonado. He had a good year last year. He heads
Yeah.
to the Houston Astros, who really just will not address the bullpen. I mean, I know their bullpen's pretty solid, but I feel like they should add maybe one more arm. I thought maybe they would look towards like a Zach Britton, but they seem to be standing pat. They go out and add Maldonado. Any thoughts on some of these moves?
It's a great move because you're looking at some of the lower level teams. I don't even mean to be disrespectful, but Milwaukee's really good. But I don't know if I put them yet in the Yankees or the Boston Red Sox type class. But when we're taking a look at what they're looking to do to bolster themselves, we know they have a lockdown bullpen already with the Brewers, right, Jeff? So go ahead and add another arm because that's how you're going to win in the playoffs. Even look at the Oakland Athletics playing good baseball, mashing it at the plate. What do? Go out and get Familia just to backload an already decent bullpen. I like some of the moves that the lower level teams are making to make sure they fortify the bullpen because that's the way that they're going to have a chance come September. So kudos to the Brewers and also the Athletics. They're bolstering that bullpen.
Let's get into last night's action and let's talk kind of transfer. Now, what do the Yankees do? Do they make another trade because Aaron Judge is going to be out for a while? I'd imagine Aaron Judge is out for the next month, and you know, contrary to belief, they have to beat the Boston Red Sox. And without Aaron Judge, it's going to be a lot more difficult. Aaron Judge takes a ball off the wrist. Kind of figured right away it looked a little bad. He didn't seem happy about it. 3 weeks he'll be out until he can even swing the bat. So be big loss. Now Giancarlo Stanton's going to play more in right field. You lose a big bat out of the lineup. And you actually have now what? I guess you bring back, Torreyes. You bring him back up. He can add a bat in, but I mean it's nothing close to Aaron Judge. Maybe they go out and try to get a Mike Moustakas, something like that. Um, Big loss for the Yankees here, Donnie. We haven't really seen Aaron Judge get injured at all in his career. He's going to be out for a while now.
Yeah, that's one of those where again you're probably looking at what 3 weeks so he could swing the bat or swing at full speed. So you're gonna the timing is what I always get upset with baseball players because that type of injury, it's not like you just go out and get your swings in the cage. Like you have to wait and you can lose that momentum and maybe there's a little bit of a tick in your swing at that point because the injury to the wrist and you couldn't work out the kinks over the past couple of weeks. But the Yankees are good. They're going to be in the playoffs. There's no time to rush. He didn't break it where it's a 3 month injury with surgery. Looks like just a couple chip cracks. He should be okay to make it through. Yankees have plenty of bats, though, Jeff. I think they'll be able to be all right here.
Yeah, but you need to win the division. I mean that's what you got to shoot for. Again, we'll see what happens. Clint Frazier's injured though. Fucking Gary Sanchez is injured as well. What do you do here? I'd imagine we'll see more Torreyes. Greg Bird's starting to hit us a little bit as well, so that's nice as well. They'll be fine, like you said, but it is a big loss. You lose that power, you lose that right field glove, and that means Giancarlo is going to have to play in the field more. So we'll see how that goes. But good news is Yankees get the job done. They beat the lowly and hapless Kansas City Royals. KC is bad, man, real bad. Uh, Thoughts on KC, Donnie? They stink.
Yeah, no, it's one of those where like I could see if you they won a couple games a few days or last week, but it's hard, Jeff, when you bet on a lineup that doesn't hit that well, a starting pitching staff that's questionable at best, and you really don't have any relievers yet. So where do you hang on in one of those games? Do you get like a 7-1 lead and just white knuckle it the rest of the way in if they can even get 7 runs? They're a hard team to bet on because there's not much positivity there for us.
I mean, if you trade Moustakas, what exactly do you do in Kansas City? I mean, Moustakas is at 20 home runs and has 62 RBIs. I mean, who
Yeah,
scores runs in that? Like Lucas
I don't know.
Duda?
Yeah, but it's Whit Merrifield leads off. He's your best player, and then you just go through like 8 straight batters of slop, and you just pray that they put it in play. Or are they waiting? They're putting all their cookies in the basket, Jeff, for Jorge Soler to come back and save the day. I don't know, man. It's bad.
Now, other than Whit Merrifield, okay, they have no one hitting above 260. I mean, that
Yeah.
plays on a regular basis.
Lucas
Oh,
Duda didn't come back and energize that lineup? Are we saying?
no. Alex Gordon's been horrendous for like the last 3 years. Salvador Perez hitting 227. Alcides Escobar, I mean, Christ, 203. Just a dreadful team. We get 4 against them coming up, which is nice. Um, What else do we have here? Phillies. A lot of runs scored yesterday, Donnie. Phillies keep it going. I didn't know if they would get the job done there. They just kept taking the lead, giving the lead up, taking the lead, giving the game up. But another big night for Reese Hoskins. He had 2 home runs. Reese wasn't affected by the home run derby.
No, yeah, that I always get a laugh at that's effective your home run derby. How about Michael Franco with another 2-run bomb last night? The franchise record, Jeff. 7 home runs by the Fighting Phils at Great American Ballpark, just teeing off. But that's what you do against the Reds pitching staff in that ballpark. It's usually hot, muggy. Everybody hits one out. And you're right. They did give up the lead, get the lead, give up the lead, but able to put it together in piecemeal. No Sir Anthony Dominguez available last night, so it got a little bit hairy in the 8th inning, as it always does when Tommy Hunter enters into a I don't want to say a close game, but like situation where you need to get out of first and third, 1 out, down a couple runs. He did get out of that. Phillies won. Good win. Still in first place, which is amazing. Waiting for them to make a deal at the deadline, maybe to bolster that bullpen a little bit, but they need some veteran bats coming off the bench. Yasmiel Valentin off the bench, Jeff, doesn't do it. Strikeout machine Dylan Cousins, who comes up from AAA, doesn't do it. Who else is on that? Aaron Altera's got sent down, hitting like 175. They have nothing off the bench that can give them a competent bat, which is what you're going to need. So we'll see if they make some changes coming up. I think they will.
Donnie, we never really got to talk about this because it's not really sports related, but it is something we see like in our business because we're constantly trying to find out info about places. It's a real shame what is, and I know you don't care. I don't think about this, but I'm one that I've always enjoyed a newspaper. It is a shame our newspapers have gotten with like even their online content. Like you got to pay to read the newspaper now, which I guess you should, but it's just kind of weird to see that now where like you can't even read like a quick box score because they want you to pay them to read it. It is a crazy, weird state of where newspapers are. But I say that because I was looking up some Cubs stuff and something came up with the newspaper stuff. We never really talked about newspapers, but it is a shame where they are. But Brad Boxberger, Donnie, for some reason Arizona thinks he's a closer. He stinks, Brad Boxberger. Big home runs.
His ERA is that bad though, is he? I mean, he gave it up yesterday, but I don't think he's that bad.
He's
overall.
He's a trashy closer. He shouldn't be a closer. 2 home runs consecutively. Cubs win. Cubs win. Cubs win at home. Big win for the Cubbies.
Yeah, it was a nice win for the Cubs yesterday. And it's a shame because you ruined it. You say, man, Chatwood just got banged around. They had a huge lead. It's always one of those, Jeff, where you take it to the well with you and say, you know what? I had a grand slam in this ball game go my way, and I still lost it overall. Those hurt, and especially Arizona's back end is usually pretty good. I mean, they can roll in the Archie Bradleys of the world and get the job done and put you away, and they weren't able to do it yesterday. So that's a tough loss to swallow, but I've been on many of those losses where you have the lead going into the late innings and just the trap door falls out right from under your feet and you take the loss. That's definitely a tough one there. But again, if you're looking at Tyler Chatwood, when he starts in those games, Jeff, I just like to fade him straight up one-on-one, and if he beats me, I'll deal with it. But, hey, yesterday, you would have won if you were on the first 5 of Arizona. Took the loss full game, even though you shouldn't have. Still there, big man, or did he freeze? We lose him? Nah, no way. We'll keep it going here on our side of it, make it a little bit different. If you can, behind the scenes there, slide down that MLB recap there for us, Johan, so we can keep on moving along and get it done. But just reviewing some games on the card last night, let me bring up some scores. We'll continue going down that path until the big man on campus gets back with it. But yes, if you're on the Arizona Diamondbacks, that certainly was a tough loss for you. Going all the way through last night, how about the New York Mets scoring 12 runs heading to Pittsburgh? I don't know what Pittsburgh's even trying to do at this point overall. I mean, when you take a look at the Pittsburgh Pirates, they get on that real rapid hot streak, and then all of a sudden we're resting everybody and putting B lineups out there all of a sudden, and the Mets come into town. Mets, 12 runs. If you're going to back anybody with 12 runs, you're going to be able to get through the game in Major League Baseball if you do have your bullpen, just somewhat competent at this point. But that's a nice win yesterday. A couple straight wins for the New York Mets. If you watch the round table a couple weeks back, after the All-Star break, I say keep an eye on those New York Mets, even though the bullpen now is atrocious after trading Familia away, even another live arm that they possibly could have. I do think they can come back and hit a little bit, but based on that, was really with Yoenis Cespedes returning back to the lineup, which he ducked out and is going to be out for damn near a year, stealing money for the New York Mets. But that was an interesting game going over 12-6. Talked about the Yankees game, talked about Ranger Suarez on the mound for the Philadelphia Phillies and a 9-4 win. How about down in South Beach last night, looking at a bad pitching matchup? Steven Strasburg once again heads to the DL. Seems like he does that, every couple weeks, every couple months, every year. He's missing a major stint and heading on the DL. Pinched nerve in his neck. I don't know what that's all about, but most people saw Tommy Milone going out to the mound. Maloney, whatever you want to call him. The lefty comes up. They win 10-3 in that spot. The paper champions rebound. No Rendon in the lineup. Didn't matter. Rendon, to me, overall, is the best player in that lineup, plays a decent third base, and also comes with a hot bat at the plate. But that's a nice victory there. A lot of people were hunting for a dog-type look, but sometimes you got to scratch your head and say, you know what? Even though Strasburg was out, I don't know if he was 160, 170, whatever that initial line opened up with. I don't think I can find that there now, but closes at 140, 138 in the favor of Malone. He gets that W for the Washington Nationals. Keep it moving down the list. A nice 2-1 victory if you were sitting on the dog play with the Minnesota Twins last night. One of the few games I caught late, 1-0 heading down. And here we go with Fernando Rodney. I mean, picture this. If you're back in the Boston Red Sox, it's a nice favorite. What was it, 150, 160 at that point? And you're saying, I can't believe I'm going to lose this game. You get bases loaded with 2 outs and a 3-0 count. And you're sitting back, and if you have the Minnesota Twins saying, this is a typical Fernando Rodney outing out here. He's going to give this up. The Red Sox are going to pull this one off. Throws 2 straight pitches right down, right on the corners there to get strike 1 and strike 2, which I agree. I agree with taking those pitches. And then 3-2 full count, 2 outs, bases juiced, bottom of the 9th inning. Rodney gets the strikeout and hits the pose there right on the mound at Fenway. So that was a nice win if you did pick that one up, whichever way you were backing it out there. Los Angeles Dodgers, I was on a team launch angle. I believe they only had 1 home run last night, which was Manny Machado's first as a Los Angeles Dodger, able to get into that bullpen and do some damage. Nice win, -115, took it down. Rich Hill was amazing in this game. And he's one of the guys that I do like to bet on, or if you are betting on Rich Hill, you get that honest effort, that crafty lefty, changing up his patterns with pitching, doing a little. He doesn't do the whole Johnny Cueto thing where he's rocking back and forth when he does pitch, but he's always interesting to watch because he changes arm angles, he changes levels, he changes speeds, he changes the way, his routine. You don't actually come to the plate each and every time, and you can time him up because he does put a delay in. So a nice win out of that. And then we get down there to Globe Life Park, another bomb fest down there, 7-6 final. Trevor Cahill gets the. Actually, I don't even know if Trevor. You know what? He was up. But not the game. Trevor Cahill does get the win over Bartolo Colon, 7-6, 13 runs scored in that game. Over under closed at an 11, so they go over that number. Oakland A's continue to stay hot, which begs the next question there. What's going to take place with the Oakland Athletics out there, folks, as the rest of the season goes? Do they need to add a bat? No, I don't think so. They added to their bullpen, and I thought they already had a decent bullpen back there. Blake Trinan's a really good closer. Trevino comes in, can shut the door down. Now you add Familia into that situation. And again, you hear me talk about it early in the season. The linchpin for Oakland A's and the success levels, folks, what was it? Andrew Triggs sacrificing himself like Jesus Christ and saying, you know what, guys, I know I'm the MVP of this team, but I'm going to take a step back so this team can step forward. Andrew Triggs still should be in some MVP talk out there, folks. I love my Andrew Triggs. We can get after them. But no, Oakland's fun. They're going to be there right to the end. Can they catch the Mariners? I don't think so. I think they're going to come up short unless they do something to make a trade. But although, remember a couple years back when that team was rolling with Yoenis Cespedes out there, they make a trade to get John Lester. They go into the playoffs, end up losing the lead. I believe it was in the Kansas City game, which allowed Kansas City, I think, to win the World Series that year, if I remember correctly. Hopefully they make the right choice this time. I like the bolstering of the bullpen. I think they're a little bit short on talent in the front end with pitching because they're so young, but we'll see what happens. See what we have here going on in the chat box. Kind of hard for me to review it when you're wanting the one-man show out here, but see a lot of people in the chat box. Welcome into watching the show here on sportsbookreview.com. And also if you see the little tagline up there in the corner, SBR just below it, Intertop's the promoted sports book of the week here, as usual here throughout the summer on the right side of campus. Sleek interface, quick payouts, we'll get it done. I do see, look at that, see that? All the technical difficulties that are coming in right here. Just got a little screen freeze out there. Usually happens every minute. Every 10 minutes on command here on Skype. So just refresh it. We'll keep it going. We'll keep it live here and keep things moving on. Let's get back to some of the games last night that we were taking a look at. Last one up there. How about Miley and Rodriguez? One of the most interesting things that we had between Wade Miley and Rodriguez last night is it's hard to bet against the Milwaukee Brewers if you're looking to take them full game, or excuse me, go against them full game. You might be able to get after Wade Miley a little bit, which the San Francisco Giants did. But in the late game situations, even though I know that San Francisco was able to score in the later innings off the bullpen, it's one of those teams where when you better make sure you have it right, because they're going to throw a number of arms at you, a strikeout ability in that back end, the Jeffersons, the Haters, the Knievels of the world, the Jennings. They are so loaded in their backup bullpen that it's amazing. Big man's finally back. Yes.
I think I forgot to pay my bill. I think it cut me off.
Would you have to get the prepaid? They called you up. You had to get a prepaid Visa card and send it in to somebody.
No, I don't know. I guess when I was down in Jersey, I just forgot to pay the bill. I don't know what happened, but I paid. So there we go. I'm back up and running. Yeah. Come on, you can't say none of you motherfuckers ever had that happen to you either. But
it's a struggle out there, man.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's not a struggle. I just forgot, I guess. But they got to get their money. So they cut you off. They make you pay. I need my internet back. So here I am. But by the way, Donnie, we got to talk about this with the Yankees. What a brutal beat if you had the over in that game last night. We've seen this a lot, man. I'll tell you what, totals are tough in baseball this year. It's a weird motherfucking year for baseball totals. Seems like when you bet the under, it's 10 to 8. When you bet the under, or when you bet the over, just crazy shit with like the other night I had that one game. It was 6-1 6-1 in the second inning. Game stays under 8.5, or this game, stays under 9.5. Just a brutal year for totals, isn't it?
No, it is, and that's why I got off it there, because there was no wave or pattern now, and I guess you have to reset yourself on what your thoughts would be, because it's usually, Jeff, home run or nothing at this point, so sometimes it's hard to gauge, and you do get some bad beats there, because I even had one early in the season where I had the Oakland Athletics versus the Kansas City Royals. I needed to score one more run, and it comes to the the bottom of the 8th inning, and I'm saying, you know what, Kansas City has a terrible bullpen, and it's a blowout game, like 6-1, 7-1. I forget what the over-under was. Let's just say 8.5 or 9, where I needed one run, either win or push. I'm saying, you know what? Oakland can get this out. They'll probably put some young tomato can dude out there on the mound in the bottom of the 8th, and maybe you can slug a home run off them. Well, at the time, the Kansas City Royals say, well, we stink, so we have to give everybody a chance at here. And, oh, by the way, Kelvin Herrera hasn't pitched in 3 days. We're just going to bring him in, Jeff, in the bottom of the 8th inning in a 6-run game. And what does he do? Of course he shuts the goddamn door on the Oakland Athletics at the time, as opposed to bringing in, Jeff, that guy like an Adam Morgan for the Phillies, who's just a long man. He said, look, just get me out of the game. I don't want to waste my bullpen guys. But you're right. Getting back to your point on that, totals, man, sometimes you got to flip a coin.
Yeah, it's been tough. By the way, people are talking about automatic payments. I don't do automatic payments. It's not going to happen. I don't want you just pulling money out of my account. I'm good on that. I do what I got to do. I pay them on my own way. I'm very good with memory generally, but hey, this one just slipped my mind this time.
What actually went out on you? What actually went out?
My internet.
Really? I guess a quick TV payment to get it back on. That's pretty good, yeah.
Well, you go right on and just pay it, and they turn it back on. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I don't do the whole. No, I don't want to do that. Because then automatic stuff starts coming out. Yeah, I'm good on that. Let me ask you, Donnie, do you do automatic payment?
Yeah, on most of my bills, yes. Because I don't like. There's only a couple. Like when I pay my mortgage and like my credit card bill by myself each and every month. I always do that. But everything else, there's Skype, whatever, cable, it all just comes right out of my account. I don't want to have to worry about it. HOA dues, all that stuff.
Yeah. Let's get into today's action, Donnie, with a little baseball. Also today, we will preview the Buffalo Bills as we continue our NFL previews. And Buffalo's an interesting team. Let's get into MLB, Donnie. What do we got?
Yeah, let's see what we have here. Let's slide it over and go through it. Looks like a little bit of Mets-Pirates action here for us today, so we'll take a look and go over the card here. Let's see here. Mets-Pirates, 951, 952. How about this? Jeff Vargas returns to the mound versus Nova, who's been very good. 80% of the tickets lining up early against the Pittsburgh Pirates as the favorite. Jeff opened up at 68, 72. now dipping all the way back at 5 dimes right now, Jeff, showing a minus 147. Mets are hot, 4 straight wins. Do they make it 5? And is Pittsburgh going to throw up the Jolly Roger in the wrong direction, Jeff, by posting another hilariously bad lineup?
I got to tell you, I'm licking my lips at this one. I am all over the Pirates. And look, I know it seems square. I know it seems, that one looks like a, easy winner and might be too good to be true. But I mean, you're getting Donnie, Jason Vargas on the road off the DL. mean, Jason Vargas has been horrendous this year. You got to figure the Pirates are going to field a nice lineup here. Nova's been pretty good lately. It's short and sweet for me. The Mets are bad without Yoenis. They're not good with Yoenis Cespedes, but even without him, there's just nothing there to get excited about. I think Nova has a big outing here, and I think Vargas gets absolutely crushed like always. Off the DL on the road, yeah, I would lean with Pittsburgh at a not an awful price. 145, 150, not horrible.
Yeah, but they can't come into the game, Jeff. No Marte, no Dickerson, no Cervelli like they've been doing. I don't mean, Jordan Luplows of the world not going to get it together. You have that nice win streak. Don't you want to stay hot? And I guess, maybe an injury or two is going to play into it and why they can't. But I saw the lineups there on fire. And then you see guys disappear for days at a time. And there's no, rhyme or reason for obviously why they're losing. They're just not putting out solid lineups night to night. So one of those games you want to see which lineup is in to see what's going to take place for me in that one. If I'm going to pay a price of around 150.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. You definitely want some of those guys in there, but this Vargas, it seems like anyone can hit him.
No, they should be able to. Let's see what else we got here on the docket, Jeff. We'll go back to the Yankees game for you there. Talk a little bit of baseball here in the Bronx post-injury, Jeff. Interesting thing last night, Jeff. Why were the fans at the stadium last night waving their cell phones as sort of a homage to hope that there was nothing coming back wrong on the X-ray of Aaron Judge last night? Did you appreciate that?
Um, Wait, you said what did they do? You cut out for a second.
They were holding their cell phones up, Jeff, and waving
Okay.
them back and
Oh,
forth
right.
like, as like candles last night praying.
It's a vigil. Well, it's called a vigil, Donnie. That's what you do. When someone gets hurt, when you're in the hood, you do that when something happens, it's bad. Yeah, you got to take care of your brother, and it worked. He didn't have a hairline fracture or anything like that. It was somewhat okay, I guess you could say. He's not out for the year.
Mhm.
We take care of our own in the Bronx, Donnie.
No, yeah, we'll get back to the game, that 965, 966. CC is going to take the mound versus Keller. Another 80-20 split here, Jeff. Obviously, the Yankees are going to be a heavy favorite in this one. Open up at 282, 290. Now sitting at Chris, Jeff, at 296, 5 times 280. Bet online at minus 280. Jeff, CC, minus 285. Is this 10 years ago? What are we looking at?
Yeah, and CC's not pitched particularly well lately either. Keep in mind though, that was against Cleveland, and then he gave
Yeah.
up 5 runs against Baltimore. There's not really an excuse there. But Brad Keller's starting to get back to being who we think every KC pitcher is. Brad Keller's really struggled lately too. Yeah, look, I don't lay numbers like this. Run line's going to be high as well. This is a game you just kind of, as a fan, root and hope for the Yankees that they can get the win against a bad team. There's not particularly any betting value here. CC's a guy that has pitched very well, but lately he's hit a little bit of a snag. He should be able to dominate a pretty bad Kansas City lineup, but right now Yankees aren't necessarily hitting the ball. I know last night they were able to score some runs, but they've had a little bit of bat trouble lately, so I would avoid this one.
959, 960, Chicago Cubs, St. Louis Cardinals, Montgomery versus Weaver out there, Jeff. 60% early backing the Chicago Cubs. Opens up at 113, 115, staying around that same level, so not a lot of movement out there. And it looks like that total is at 8.5 here across the board, Jeff.
Yeah, and by the way, Donnie giving me Donnie, did you send me these games? I'm trying to remember. Did you send me these games? Like
These are the
beforehand?
ones that you sent me, I believe. Yes.
No, I didn't send any of these.
Cubs, Yankees, A's, Phillies. I got. That's what I got.
Oh, no, those are the ones that I was just going to review from last night. You sent me these
Yeah, I don't. We'll
last
just.
night.
Yeah.
I think you
Gotcha,
did
gotcha,
send.
gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. Well, listen,
That's all right.
Cubs against the Cubs are throwing out Montgomery again. He's been okay, I guess you could say, and 10 outings. I mean, I don't think Mike Montgomery's particularly a starter, but he's been kind of pushed into that role with some injuries. Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't know about this. I don't really want to back Mike Montgomery. I just don't. I want a pure pitcher in there that generally starts. Mike Montgomery's not a starter. 10 of 13 between these teams have gone over. I can't ever seem to figure St. Louis out either. So this is another one, Donnie, I'm passing on.
Yeah, it's a younger pitcher. At least he's at home. Yachty's going to be able to catch him. I would lean towards the St. Louis Cardinals in this game as long as they have a decent lineup that they can put out. No Chris Bryant in the lineup. I always like that. If you're betting against the Cubs, you're taking out a decent bat out of that lineup. So if I'm looking at this game overall without breaking it down too much, you're getting a team that's only getting 40% of the tickets early. Line moving a little bit, in the higher direction. At Pinnacle opened up at 13, now sits at 116. So I'm thinking a little bit on the St. Louis Cardinals in this one. We'll keep it moving down the list, Jeff, and go. Let's go Twins and the Red Sox. How about last night, Jeff? Lance Lynn's going to be back on the mound today for the Twins going against Chris Sale. And the reason we bring this up, not so much capping purposes. I just get a kick out of this, right? Minus 365, Jeff. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, Donnie, I got to tell you, I mean, these games you picked are horrendous. I mean, you're giving me a 365 and a 300 to cap.
Well, I mean, when you look at last night, when you don't really know who the starting pitchers are on the odds board just yet from what I'm looking at, and we have to have it in early. Like, I'm just going down the board saying, hey, we'll just, float some out there.
Yeah. Now, to explain what Donnie's talking about, we come up with these topics. Generally, I come up with them late
in the
morning.
Night.
I send them to Donnie. He just sends them in. I guess yesterday we had to send these in early, so Donnie was sending this in at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We had no idea what went on with the game that night, so we're just kind of all over the place.
Make it work. Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, I won't be betting on this game. But I'll tell you what game I will be betting on, Donnie. And I gotta ask, what the hell's up with this number? Okay, I know that Seattle's not played particularly well lately. Okay, they've kind of win one, lose one, win one, lose one, but they're not playing terribly. Why the hell are they plus 130 tonight with LeBlanc on the hill? I mean, Seattle's been good against lefties. I know Heaney's been, I guess, good, but I mean, that seems like a pretty big price on a guy in LeBlanc who's been pretty good.
Yeah, I guess LeBlanc going on the road, he's a lefty. They're going to stack all right-handed batters against him. I can actually see that line. It does look a little bit high because when you look at it, Jeff, your initial thought, and then you see 72% of the tickets coming in on Seattle just because they see them and say, you know what? Seattle is going to play you close. They typically don't get blown out. They like to win close games. So you would figure saying, I'm going to get a dog with a good team that's used to winning close games. I could see it.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of look at that one, kind of scratch my head a little bit, but Seattle kind of win one, lose one lately. Donnie, let's do something here before we get into football. Are there any other games you're looking at, Donnie, that you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, I actually didn't even go over the board. Like, I'm getting as everybody's looking at it right now is what I'm actually getting across. Because usually when there's like a day or couple day baseball games, I'm already in depth in there because I want to see if I want to take an angle on that. But there's a lot of decent games when you look overall at the board on what you want to try to get after. Eat that Tampa Bay Archer with Cashner game. You got Archer on the mound minus 149 on the road. Can Baltimore be sneaky in that environment and steal one? But I haven't dipped into too much of these games, Jeff.
Well, let's do this. Let's answer a Twitter question here, Donnie, from one of the listeners that sent one in. We don't generally get Twitter questions. Usually they come on the YouTube show and just ask. But Donnie, this is a question from Oblivion Sport Betting. I was wondering what bankroll management you both use.
Yes.
Just interested to know. Love the show. Hashtag right side of campus. So Donnie, let's go to you on that. Do you use bankroll management?
Yeah, bankroll management means a lot of things to a lot of people. You like to see it like I have $2,000 set aside. Like most people don't have quote unquote like stuff set aside for the season. So what I try to teach people is bankroll management. To me, what it means, that approach that says don't lose more than you want to, or that you actually have on hand or that you can pay at the end of the week. But let's just break it down in layman's terms. What does that mean? Would you rather have somebody leading you down the path, Jeff, that goes 8-0, 8-1, 1-8, 0-11, 2-4? Because most gamblers, Jeff, at the end of the week, Like, they're going to bet their own games on top of what you give them. They want to bet a lot more games, and at the end of the week, paying up. Like, if you had a losing week and it's 3-4, he's not going to have to pay up that much. If you had a winning week and it's 4-3, bankroll management to me, Jeff, is, you know what? No matter what happens on the plays that I have tonight or play, at the end of the week, I'm going to be able to make that payment, or I'm going to be able to get some back. And I didn't obliterate exactly what I have and take all the fun out. Because what fun is it, Jeff, if you go 10 plays a day through 7 days and you lose at the end of the week so much that you're not even sure that you can even afford to bet the next week on your bookie? That's bankroll management. It's more fun when you can go to bed at night and wake up and maybe you lost the day before or you won and you don't sweat that bet and you can be in action the next day. It's all about longevity with bankroll management. That's what it is.
That's a great point. And I think it's funny because there are so many people, Donnie, that say certain things that don't live those things. Now, I'm talking about it's a marathon, not a sprint. And that's exactly what this business is. You have to understand you are not going to get rich in a week doing this. You're not. You have to grind out profit. Okay. We've talked about that, you and I, Donnie. We do that. That's how we live. Me and Donnie, I said this to Ian Cameron, Donnie. You heard me yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with a unit a day, breaking even.
Yeah.
Over the course of
Yeah.
the long run, break even days are just fine. They don't take money away from me. I'm looking to win a certain amount of days out of the month, and I'm going to make a profit. You cannot bet 10, 20 games a day and expect to win. You just can't. And it's not a knock on people that do that. You just can't win. The odds are stacked against you. Okay, you have to pick one or two, go hard at them. And I'm not saying if that's how you bet, that's how you bet. I'm just telling you, there's things that just work, Donnie. Your exposure's low. When I'm betting one or two games, the exposure's low. I could concentrate on one thing. I could concentrate on winning that game and moving on. You do it, I do it. It's just how it works. You have to be quality over quantity. You have to be in that marathon, not a sprint. You're not going to get rich in 1 or 2 days. You
Yeah,
can't do
but
it.
like how
It's a
many times,
long
like when you talk to your friends or you talk to other people out there, how many times have you heard this throughout your life? Hey, the Eagles are playing the Giants. It's Monday night. Most people, the new week starts on Monday or whatever you're local. Maybe the new week starts on Tuesday. And you get this from like, hey, man, who'd you take? Did you take anybody tonight? Nah, you know what? I gotta wait a couple weeks, man, and try to reload and refresh. Like, you should never be at that point in sports gambling where you have to take a few weeks break because you lost that much money to try to recoup. It should never get to that point. If you're gonna sweat it, maybe you shouldn't bet it to begin with. But there's never a day that goes by in my life that I wake up, Jeff, I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like betting today. You know what? I don't feel like betting tomorrow. I don't feel like betting like next week. It should never get to that point at all.
Yeah, I
You know?
totally agree.
Yeah.
I see Sunny Vega's in here. Sunny Vega, Kako C. Kako C, Sunny Vega. Um, Donnie, we don't only speak English in here. We
Yeah.
speak other
Yeah.
languages sometimes too.
Yes.
Um,
I don't speak Spanish though. I don't speak Spanish.
I don't speak Spanish. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Quality over quantity. I agree. That's exactly where we're going here.
Yes.
Great
Yeah.
question, Oblivion,
Yeah.
sports betting. Great question. Always good to chat about that. Let's get into a little NFL, Donnie.
Yeah. Yes.
It's time to talk NFL. And the Buffalo Bills are next on the journey through the NFL. An interesting team, okay? I mean, you finally make the playoffs last year, but you lose a 10-3 game. Okay. That's not
Yeah.
something you should be doing. But you come back this year, they break that 17-year playoff drought, which, by the way, Donnie, was the longest in American professional sports, and getting in the playoffs. You got a new quarterback, but is that quarterback ready? I'm going to go out on a limb and say no, he won't be ready. You also have AJ McCarron, Nate Peterman. Um, Again, you look at McCarron. He says he's not a bridge quarterback. Donnie, do you first of all, what are your thoughts on that comment from McCarron?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know, but like I didn't hear actually cut off the first point of it, but I know what you're saying. Like breaking the playoff drought last year. I actually lost that game last year because I believe it was what is it 10-3? What was the fine on that game, Jeff? It was 10-3.
Okay,
I think it was it seven and a half.
10-3,
What the
yeah.
hell was the? Oh, it was 8. That's right. It was an 8-point line in that game. I did lose that game for the Bills, but no. Just recapping off last year, liked what they did. Broke it up a little bit. First year of a head coach. So I mean, I like the direction that they're in, but I don't know about this season that we're going to break down overall for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, you look at Buffalo. Obviously, they have the off the field problems with LaShawn
Mhm.
McCoy. I mean, he was terrific over the last few years since he came in from Philadelphia. You look at this offensive line. I mean, you lose out. Incognito's gone. Cordy Glenn's gone. You look at the skill position players. Sammy Watkins, he's gone. You did bring in Calvin Benjamin. Zay Jones, solid. Yeah, I guess you have some guys there that you can kind of get excited about, but overall, this offense, you got some question marks. I mean, Deion Dawkins looks pretty good. That left tackle at that D Temple University. You got a couple guys up front there. Defensively, I think you always kind of look forward to them defensively. They're
Yeah.
generally well coached. Star Latulier up front, solid player. Jerry Hughes. I thought Tremaine Edmonds, good player. We'll see where we get out of him. Secondary has some talent. But Donnie, I just can't buy into a secondary that has Jordan Poyer as a starter. I remember him in Philadelphia, and it's just like, wow, he's a starter. I got to tell you, I think the Buffalo Bills are pretty poor this year. I don't know about you. Where do your, and we'll kind of get to that. What are your thoughts on Buffalo? In the pecking order. I mean, obviously the Patriots. You have Miami, who's improved. Where do you go with Buffalo here?
I mean, when you're looking overall at the season, it's what are you going to get at a quarterback? Do you want, like, here's the thing again, which you always bring up the topic when you look at Cleveland, when you're looking at Arizona, quarterbacks coming into the season. To me, it's always better to start the young guy, let him take his lumps. What do you get out of letting McCarron get 6 to 8 games or maybe even playing the entire year to let quote unquote Josh Allen learn the system? Let the young kids play. Whenever you draft, that same thing with Carson Wentz. He was set up to go into the season, Jeff, as the backup quarterback and not learning. Thank goodness there was an injury in Minnesota that allowed Sam Bradford to be traded out and let Carson Wentz progress like he should. These guys are built to get in and play right away, let them get their lumps. But when you're looking at win totals and stuff, Jeff, it's the same thing. If I don't know who's going to be starting opening day, it's hard for me to take a win total because what happens to the Buffalo Bills, who we anticipate aren't going to be a great organization? Sooner or later, Jeff, Josh Allen's going to get in there and he's going to be able to make mistakes, which is good because we'll learn from that in the future.
Yeah, I still wonder about Josh Allen. For me, he was a bit of a wild card when
Yeah.
it came to quarterbacks. Look, he's got good size. He's got a nice arm, but uh, I wonder about him. I think to compare him to Carson Wentz is a weak comparison. It's a lazy comparison because he went to a more unknown school. Keep in mind, I mean, the year when he had Tanner Gentry and Brian Hill, he was very effective. You look at last year, though, didn't have a lot of weapons, wasn't particularly effective. So was that because he didn't have the weapons, or just because he's not able to make good things happen? He needs people to kind of lean on to make them happen. It's an interesting case. I'm for one to think that Josh Allen was the wrong pick. I don't know how well he'll do in the. He seems like a guy that'd be an exact replica of someone that would kind of be a bust, but we'll see. They need him to be good in Buffalo. As far as their schedule's concerned, I didn't take a look much at that, but let's take a look at their schedule here, Donnie. Obviously, you got to play the Patriots twice. You got to play Miami twice. You got to play the Jets, but you start out the season at Baltimore, winnable game. I mean, not
Mhm.
terrible. You got to get
Yeah.
the Chargers, then you got to go to the Vikings, Packers, get the
Mm.
Titans, Texans. That's a tough 4 game stretch there.
Yeah.
That could be 4 losses in a row. Then you play the Colts, who may be one of the worst teams in the league. So you should be able to win that.
Still on the
Yeah,
road, though. It makes it tough. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you got the Bears, which I guess maybe that's a winnable game. Maybe you can beat the Lions. But this looks like a 5 or 6 win team to me.
No, yeah, I think you're at the same sentiment there. And then when you get in the look, Jeff, where you have the pressure, you drafted the kid in the first round, right? And you're sitting on your season at 2-5. What do the fans start to do when they realize you're not going to win the division or the playoffs? Put the young kid in there or fire the entire organization. There's going to be a lot of pressure on the Bills there. But again, I like the fact they went younger at quarterback. Let the kid go out there and get his lumps. You're going to have draft picks out there. You're going to be able to surround him with talent. And if he's a good quarterback, you'll be better off for it down the road. Easy to me.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not a big Buffalo guy going into the season. Definitely a step back this year, especially if Sean McCoy's not there. I mean, what the hell do you do if he's not in there? I think it's going to be a tougher year for Buffalo, but I think their fans are readily understandable. They get, but we'll see. Maybe they'll surprise. Maybe Josh Allen will come in and fire and get the job done against everyone. I don't know. Overall, though, I think they're a 5 or 6 win team. Clearly, we'll miss out in the playoffs. They need to get Josh Allen ready to go. Need to figure out what the stories are with LaShawn McCoy here, and just kind of build it from there. Do you guys play season-long fantasy? I do, generally. I usually have one team. I usually host a league. What else do we have here? What are your thoughts on the Seahawks? We'll get to those, Cody, as we continue moving down the card here, day by day with these different teams. Donnie, anything else in the Bills before we move on here?
No, I think it's one of those teams that you're looking at saying they really don't have that much of a chance because it's New England's division and nobody else. It seems like that's been the last 20 years of existence. But I do think their future is bright. I like their coaching staff. Their owner put some money behind that team, and the quarterback works out with Josh Allen, and he's an effective quarterback in the NFL. They do have a nice future because sooner or later, Jeff, Tom Brady's got to leave, and Bill Belichick has to retire. It's just the evolution of the human race. So when that happens, they'll be a little bit better off.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be sooner than later. The way they kind of get moved on from. But other than that, that's that
Mhm.
for the show. We're about
Yeah.
3 minutes away from the end. Great comments as always today. Will you guys ever be in Vegas this year?
Mm,
Well, as a matter of
I
fact,
think
we
we will
will.
be.
End of
Hmm.
August, we'll be there. The 24th through the 27th. We're there for the IFBC. So make sure you check that out. IFBC, a lot of cool events, a lot of cool speakers.
Yes.
Jason Whitlock, Clay Travis, Donnie Rightside, Gabe Morency, Kelly in Vegas, Todd Furman, myself. We have all sorts. Joe Lisi, Bud Elliott, Drew Martin, all sorts of people will speak at
The family
IFBC.
will be
Uh,
there. Yes, the
yes,
family will be speaking there.
the Golden Nugget Casino on the Strip, or not the Strip, the whatever it's called. You can tell them
Fremont.
that. What's
Yeah,
Fremont? There you
Fremont.
go.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
That would be called a strip where I'm from. It's a strip of buildings and casinos and all sorts of stuff. It'll be hot and sultry, but inside the info will be nice and good.
And
I'll
cool.
be talking college football. Donnie will talk NFL. We got all sorts of stuff. We got Bob Levy, the Reverend Bob Levy, who will be the comedian at the buffet style dinner. Which is it a buffet style dinner? I don't know.
I
I
believe
see him
so.
make.
Yes, I believe so. We had good food in
By
Costa
the
Rica
way,
last week or last year.
by, by, by the way, Donnie, Reverend Bob Levy has me blocked on Twitter. I don't know why
Yes.
that is. I'm not sure
Yeah, you probably
why.
got angry at him at one point. You probably got
I
angry at
swear
him.
on my love, I would never get mad at Bob Levy. I think he's funny. I don't know why I'm blocked. He has me blocked for some reason. I've never interacted with him before. But I've always loved him on Howard Stern. I think he's hilarious. And he's from the area. Why would I hate Bob Levy? But I'm excited to hopefully get to Bob Levy and ask him why he blocked me. Hopefully he can unblock me.
How about
Couple
that?
questions here. When will the website be up? The middle of the month next month. Thanks, Troy. Have a good night. Trevor, Guan, Justin, everybody, welcome and appreciate you tuning in today. Donnie and I will be back tomorrow, 11 o'clock a.m. We'll go over the baseball card and more. Everyone have a great Friday. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Peace.